Last year, Chief Harteau and I sought to be part of the federal Office of Justice Programs initiative called the National Initiative for Building Community Trust and Justice, designed to build stronger relationships between communities and police departments. We are one of 6 cities participating.
In order for us to truly be effective as a law enforcement profession, or frankly this organization, we need to make sure we have public trust. And one of the ways to do that is to be sure that we're seen as legitimate. And so one of the examples that we use when it comes to procedural justice, because it's about fairness and legitimacy. You can take an officer who arrests someone or cites them for speeding, and if they're fair and respectful, it's going to be seen as legitimate interaction. And what odds are will happen in that encounter is, one, the speeder will probably acknowledge their wrongdoing and probably pay their ticket. But the reality of it is, if we're not seen as a legitimate entity, we cannot have the level of public safety that we could unless we have public trust and partnerships.
We are excited to launch this first year of the National Initiative Procedural Justice Training. We are actually into the implementation phase now. The 5 wonderful leaders, these peace officers behind me, it was very intentional, as Chief Harteau mentioned. They've been selected because not only are they respected within the organization, but they have that same respect out there in their communities. This is a heavy lift. The Minneapolis Police Department is only one of 6 cities around the country that is embarking upon this evidence-based training. So it is not anecdotal and it will not be guesswork. This is through evidence-based training. When you consider that there are over 17,000 police agencies in the country, all of them wanted the opportunity to take part in this groundbreaking training, and Minneapolis was selected in part because of the work that has been going on the ground in our communities between our police officers and our community. So we're very excited about that.
There's 5 modules to the training, and I introduced the first module, which really focuses on the definitions of the training, which are procedural justice. It's what citizens feel when they interact an officer, like they're being respected, they're treated fair, they're treated as human beings, and we're being professional towards them. Once officers interact with people in such a manner, it leads to legitimacy, which is the public's view that the officers are entitled and have the authority to manage conflict and maintain social order and solve their problems.
I focus on teaching Module 2, which deals with the concepts of legitimacy. Initially, I also speak with the officers about the damaging effects of cynicism in police departments and how that affects them in their relationships with the community and also in their personal life. We discuss again goals of when they started to where they're at now, and how the pillars of procedural justice will help them achieve their goals and help them remember why they became officers in the first place.
I instruct Module 3. And in that module, we defined justice, and we talk about that's what we do. And we talk about procedural justice, and we talk about that's how we do it. And as the chief had mentioned, in this module, we break down the pillars of procedural justice, and we talk about the importance of giving individuals that we come in contact with voice. We talk about making neutral decisions. We talk about treating people with respect. And we talk about how to gain trust. We talk about the benefits of practicing procedural justice as well.
My module deals with historical and generational effects of policing. This right here can be a very sensitive topic. We actually take a deep dive and we look at the roots of slavery in the United States. We also look at past departments and past history of how minorities and immigrants are actually treated by the police. Once you put that badge on and you put your hand up and you swear to uphold the law, you represent the same thing. When you look at 1960, you look at Jim Crow laws, and you look how minorities were treated down south. And the perception that some communities can still view that too, because when you look in the past, that wasn't that long ago, and you have a lot of people, that's how they still perceive and look at the police department. So we have to look into the mirror at that. And we also have to look at past how we've treated citizens too. And what we want to do is we want to look at reconciliation. We want to reset that and build better relationships.
I have the closing procedural justice presentation, which is procedural justice at its finest, and which talks about images the police department portrays and how as little as one contact with the police can affect legitimacy, and how the public views that, either with a deposit or withdrawal for the police department as well as the community. And then I close my my presentation with images of the police department and how that can affect people, either directly or indirectly, how they perceive what they see out there. As you know, we are always on stage, we're always having filmed or on camera, so what we do is always in the public's eye.